Hi, my name is Brody Folk,
And I'm Eli Nelson.
and this is the Pirate Podcast, where we'll be discussing coaches and players and how their sports are doing.
Here we have is Coach Bret Anderson, who's been the swim coach here at Platte County High School for 15 years. Coach, how's your day been?
My day has been good.
Coach, this year with swim obviously coming off a COVID year, how's your team looking to respond after last year?
Um, we're we're kind of coming together pretty well. It's last year was kind of difficult. There was a lot of things to deal with that you uh, I don't know, kind of took away from some of the fun. I think most of the sports did. I think the kids and the athletes found ways to enjoy themselves, but it was a difficult year. And this year's been kind of a refreshing thing, and we're starting to see some success in our times and our swims, and seeing some success in the culture of our team.
Yeah, that leads into our next question. Like, how will your team chemistry impact the year? As swimming is kind of more of an individual sport, what does team chemistry have to do with your guys' success?
Um, we try to create a team atmosphere on a individual sport. One of the things that happened last year with COVID is we lost the locker room, and people had to come in already dressed, and just getting that time to hang out and get to know each other. Team dinners, things like that, we weren't able to have. And this year, the guys are getting to hang around each other more and more, getting to be around each other, even in the pool. Um, and I think that's a big deal. I think they worry about each other more, they care about each other more, and that's a big aspect of our team.
With the beginning of the year starting to come around, how does your coaching style differ from like your first meet to your state meet? Like what's the difference between your first day of practice and your last day of
You
practice?
screaming at people first day in, and at the end of the year, you're more relaxed? Or?
I will say I probably get less relaxed toward the end of the year, and probably around conference time. Right now, we're more forgiving of mistakes and errors and things like that. In fact, having mistakes, having errors are part of the beginning of the season, so that we can learn. And so when we get to the last, our last couple meets, conference and even state, conference is kind of a big deal. You talked about the team aspect, because our team can win conference or places in conference. And so I get a little edgy during conference week, kind of motivating, more like this is the time you got to focus and stuff like that. And in state is kind of like that too. It kind of depends on where we are in state, but lately in the last 5 years or so, we've been placing somewhere in state, so it has become more and more important. But I guess more forgiving at the beginning of the year. You asked how my coaching style is. More forgiving at the beginning of the year, and less forgiving. But I don't have to. Part of it is I don't have to be that way, because the team takes over itself, and they kind of deal with that.
So is that a little bit different than you obviously coach basketball here at the high school too? Is there a difference between how you coach basketball and how you coach swim?
It's kind of funny you say that. Yeah, there kind of is. Number one, the athletes that I have, since I had you guys here,
Yeah.
they're better athletes.
He's our
than swim.
freshman boys basketball coach. Remember that?
I
you're
really
from-
enjoy having those swimmers and not the basketball players. No, it is different. I am, and in basketball, I get one and doneers. I only get them for 1 year. And so I am a little bit more in a hurry to instruct and get people to understand things than I am in swim. Swim, some of the guys that come in, they already have experience, and they know what they've been swimming competitively for a certain amount of years of their life. There's a few of those that I get, but a lot of them they come in, they know how to swim, but we have to teach them all the other strokes and teach them how to do flip turns and teach them a lot. And so it's almost like a 4-year process, a 3 and 4 year process to get them to be successful. And so it's a little bit different than freshman basketball, where it's, hey, however good they are that year is kind of how good that we're going to be. And so there's other thing too in swim, you get a few people that like this is their sport, but a lot of the people I have, like, they want to try out swim. We compete against football, soccer, cross country, and so those are pretty popular sports. And so it's hard to get too many people to even to just know that we have a sport. And the ones that come, we always say you get 3 days. If you don't like it after 3 days, don't come back the 4th. If you do like it after 3 days, you're going to be there until you graduate high school. And that's a lot of what happens with our team. They just stick with it, and they like the guys, and they like what goes on.
When talking about experience, you obviously have a returning senior, Dylan Beats, who was a state qualifier. How does the team follow his leadership? Like, how do they, like, is he the leader? How does he display the leadership, and how do you guys unify under him?
Well, a couple things on our team, and I talked to him. We even talked about him this year. Becoming the team leader is kind of a process, and we don't name captains. We don't just kind of the seniors kind of take over, and I think they're trying to put their imprint on this team. They're working on getting this team to kind of have it, to make it their team, to have their particular culture. And it doesn't necessarily matter if you are state qualifier or not very good at it. I mean, it's kind of like seniors step up and take the lead. That doesn't mean others can't. So getting back to your question, how has the team followed Dylan's lead? And Dylan is working on being a leader along with Christian Yocklin. They're trying to organize some things and get guys to buy into not just the swimming aspect, but everything else. I mean, and they're trying to show some of it, lead by example as well, just doing the right thing and stuff like that. And, we'll kind of see where the team goes. I mean, I can't tell you what's going to happen right now. We'll see where the team goes in that aspect.
So speaking about kind of your swimmers, you have a couple good freshmen, it looks like, this year, Keith and Gutshaw. What do you see from them, and how they came into the program?
We do, and add Kobe Parkin in there too. This is kind of a rare thing. Like, I don't have any freshmen that have never swam. I've got 3 guys, Palmer Keith and Deacon Gutshaw and Kobe Parkin. These guys all have experience swimming, and so they're at different levels as far as their talent and everything. But they're going to be they're going to contribute quite a bit this year, and they're 2 of them have already actually hit consideration times in state. That doesn't mean they're going to go to state, but they're that talent. 2 of them have already hit what we call lettering times, where they're going to letter because they hit these times, which it's hard as a freshman. With them coming in, and you add the seniors and where they are, and the juniors, we have a big junior class and where they are, and even the sophomores. Like, there's this, we even talked about as a team. We have this timing that is happening this year, and it's pretty impressive, and those guys add to that timing.
Okay. Well, so we're going to do a thing where we have 4 final questions for you here, and they might not be about your sport. They might be pop culture, food. So our first one is a swim question. How many swimmers would you anticipate taking to state this year?
Individually, I would say for individual stuff, 4 or 5. Now, relays are different, so they may be on a relay or not. But I would think we would get around 10, and that's weird to say, but just depends on what happens. I think that there's going to be at least 10 on the bus heading down
with Royals prospects Bobby Wood Jr. and other prospects, what do you expect of the Royals, and how many wins do you think they'll have next year?
Coach Anderson is a big Royals fan, along with myself, so I figured this would be a good question to throw in there.
I would say 81 wins.
81? That's all we're giving him?
That would be 500.
500
It's
exactly.
It's awful hard to, and if they could do that, I'd be very excited. But it's awful hard to go from the JV to the varsity in 1 year and be some amazing success. I am excited to see what the Royals are doing. I'm excited for these guys to come up, but it takes a lot more time than people realize.
I have a little more faith than Coach Anderson does here. What is your favorite class to teach here at the high school?
My favorite class, well, lunch.
Yeah, I guess to spend with us recording podcasts.
I teach psychology. I really enjoy the class, and even when I've taught other classes, it tends to be I enjoy teaching it. It's upperclassmen. It's an interesting subject. I get interesting students and kind of get to hear about their lives. So I would say psychology.
And finally, last question. What is your favorite place to eat here in Platte City?
Here in Platte City?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Probably one of the Mexican places, but they're all good. I don't know. They all have different things that I like. I can't even remember the names, though. I just know the one downtown.
Oh, that Las Cabanas?
Las Cabanas. It's good. I like the one up here.
Omagüe. Yeah, I go there frequently. Rapidos. Yeah.
They're all good. They got something different about them. Mexican food's always good.
Go down to Berry Road. Where are you picking?
Gosh, what's the one by Chili's?
South of the border.
Yeah,
on the border.
On the border. On the border.
I like on the border and there's some chains. I like.
So you hear Coach Anderson is a big Mexican food guy.
You can't go wrong with Mexican food.
Well, thank you, Coach, for spending your lunch period with us. We really appreciate it, and be looking forward to getting to talk to more coaches throughout the season. Thank you so much.